This is Cheat for Yourself. Now, here's Gio.
Hi, and welcome to Cheat for Yourself. We're glad to have you with us wherever you are in the world today. The format of the show is Conscious Talk. We're dedicated to strengthening the chi and to the living of a genuine life. Now, you no doubt know or you've heard about the benefits of meditation, better health, deep relaxation, less anxiety. But many of us have a hard time making a meditation practice a regular part of our lives. Our guest today teaches that the best meditation is not difficult at all. Ajayan Borys is the author of Effortless Mind, Meditate with Ease. He joins us to talk about techniques that are simple to practice and that deliver the greatest results. We're happy to welcome Ajayan Borys to Cheat for Yourself.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Before we get into the specifics, let's talk about what we mean when we say the word meditation. Exactly what is meditation?
You know, there's so many different types of meditation, but if they actually work, if as techniques of meditation, then what they will accomplish is they'll always bring the mind's activity from that conscious thinking level to subtler and subtler levels of thought, of experience, deeper levels of the mind. And so that's kind of the, in a nutshell, the essence of what meditation to be meditation has to do. So it has to bring the mind from the conscious thinking level where we're normally stuck to these, deeper, subtler levels of mental experience.
People talk about having a tough time meditating or staying in a meditative state. What do people tell you is their biggest impediment to being able to effectively meditate?
Well, actually, it's interesting. There's a couple of different things that seem to obstruct people, and one is they're just too busy. They're a busy life. Their focus is more on the externals of their life, and so that's the first thing. And so to these people who have that reason for not meditating, I would say that the thing is, life is so precious, and what we experience of life definitely comes through the lens of the mind. And so if we want to enrich our experience of life, deepen it, get so much more out of it, then we need to attend to cleansing that lens of the mind, expanding the lens of the mind, and then our whole experience of life is going to be transformed. So that's really a critical thing to understand. And then you can make meditation a priority, and you'll actually make it happen. You'll sit down, get on the cushion, and do your meditation once you appreciate that. And once you start meditating, then you'll find that it's naturally reinforcing because it is a wonderful, sublime experience that is, it's pleasant. It doesn't, if you're meditating properly, then it's a really pleasant, wonderful experience, and you'll want to have more of it. It's only if you haven't been instructed properly, and maybe you're making an effort, you're straining, and then you'll start to feel frustrated, and that's just a sign that the meditation practice needs some adjusting. So don't lose heart. Meditation is still good. You can just learn the proper way of meditating, which will be effortless. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that people sometimes, often, people come to my classes with the idea that, they've tried to meditate, but they can't do it because their mind is too busy. They have too many thoughts, and so that's frustrating for them. And so I have a totally different philosophy about thoughts and meditation that people find quite a relief, and that is that thoughts are an inevitable part of the meditation, and so you don't need to have a perfectly still mind in order to meditate. That's kind of absurd. That would be like saying you have to have perfect health in order to go to the doctor. So anyway, I don't know if that answers your question. I could go on and on, but I'll let you have a
no, that I was going to get to the part about quieting the mind, because so much is said about that. But you say in the book it's okay to have thoughts and let thoughts creep into the meditation because we're not trying to control the process. Do I have that correct?
Exactly. And actually, there's a lot more to it than that. There's way more to this whole thoughts issue than people suspect. So first, let's get into it a little bit. First off, what is a mind? A mind is nothing, according to the scriptures of India, the mind is nothing other than consciousness fluctuating in thought waves. So if we are, if we're having thoughts, that's exactly what the mind does. So we shouldn't be surprised by that. We shouldn't be disconcerted by that. That's perfect. That's just what the mind does. And when all thought waves cease, then you're going to be in the state of no mind. And that will happen during meditation from time to time, but it's not the thing that's always going to be going on in meditation. You're going to be mostly having some thoughts. So the way I like to look at this, and this seems to help people, is look at the mind as if the mind is an ocean. And up until the point we've started meditating, we're basically hanging out on the surface of that ocean, going from thought wave to thought wave to thought wave. Then when we start to meditate, it's like dropping underneath the surface, and as soon as you do that, you experience silence. You experience some inner silence, some quiet, and you can go deeper and deeper into that ocean, and the silence gets deeper. But it doesn't mean that the whole ocean becomes completely still. There'll still be the thought waves on the periphery, right? The thought waves on the surface will still be happening, but you can be in the depths of meditation in a very deep state, and those thoughts don't take you out of the meditation. And so it's not a matter of stopping the thoughts. It's rather a matter of just going into the depths of that ocean of the mind, and in doing that, our relationship with the thoughts change. Instead of being engaged with our thoughts, they're just like clouds floating by overhead. Not to mix our metaphors here, but they're like the waves just going on the surface while we're in the depths of the ocean. So anyway, there's more to it than this, in fact, because one of the real benefits of meditation come about through the purifying process of meditation. Meditation isn't just about having a great experience while you're sitting there. It's about unfolding our full potential so that we're really, living a more joyful, clear, peaceful kind of life while we're out of meditation, right? And so that happens through the deep rest of meditation and the pure vibrations of the mantras and such that kind of purge our being of obstructions to that full potential from shining forth, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to go through this process of purification, and the process of purification is going to stir up some stuff, and when that happens, we're going to experience that as thoughts in meditation. And so sometimes you'll have you'll have a really deep meditation, and then you'll have a period where you're just having intense thoughts, lots of thoughts in your meditation, and that's because the purification is really going on. It's kind of similar to going through the stages of a night's sleep, where you'll have deep sleep, and then you'll have dreams, and deep sleep, and then you'll have more dreams. And you don't wake up and think, oh, darn, I had a lot of dreaming. I wasn't sleeping properly. Mm-hmm. That's comparable to saying, oh, darn, I had a lot of thoughts in meditation. I wasn't meditating properly. But actually you were. It's just that you need that understanding that the thoughts are a natural part of the meditation.
So the mind is not a bad guy necessarily. It's just something we can expect to come into and out of our consciousness.
Yeah, right. It's just it's a part of the thing, It's a part of it's the name of the game. It's the mind, and that's what the mind does, and it's perfectly fine. It's really interesting when you really understand the mechanics of meditation, and that comparison to the dreaming and sleep states is very apt, because it's the rest of the deep sleep that then allows the brain chemistry to adjust itself, and during that process we have dreams, and so those dreams are the byproduct of a lot of chemical changes that are happening in the brain, and we know that if we interrupt that dream state, then it can cause psychological imbalance. So we need to have that dream state. Likewise, in meditation, the deep experiences of meditation create a lot of purification that goes on. A lot of chemical changes will happen in the organs, in the brain, and the blood chemistry, and those biochemical changes are going to cause some stir in the mind, and that's the thoughts that we have. And so actually, we need that thought phase of the meditation as well. But a lot of times you'll be in that, like I say, it'll be in that deep oceanic silence while the thoughts are in the periphery. That's more the common experience.
I like what you said in the book about balance and how our meditation is more than just what goes on when we're in the so-called meditative state. The meditation is actually carried out throughout the day, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really what should happen, because, again, we're not meditating just for what happens while we're sitting there with the eyes closed. It's really all about then coming out and feeling the benefits of that meditation, and then using that additional awareness that you gain through meditation to become mindful of, certain patterns of reaction and such that you maybe have had since childhood, and becoming aware of those and starting to, evolve out of them, grow out of them through just being aware of that and adjusting your, behavior and reactions and responses. And so that's, then that makes life a meditation as well. Yep, that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. You lived and studied meditation in India for a time. What did you take away from that experience?
Well, that's where I gained so much. It seems like all my knowledge of meditation has come from India, starting way back in the 70s, the early 70s, when I studied with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the founder of the TM program. And then I studied with Mata Amritananda Mayi. She's a living saint, considered a saint in India. She's often called the hugging saint. And I lived with her for 4 years, and she had me teaching meditation at her ashram every day during those 4 years. And then I went up to the Himalayas and, studied with some yogis and holy men up there. And through all these different experiences, I gained a lot of knowledge of meditation and techniques of meditation. But I would say that kind of opened the door. And then it was, through many, many hours of practice every day that these seeds kind of germinated. And so what I teach is, you could say in a way it's the best of everything I learned, but it's actually more than that. It's also the outcome of a lot of, personal practice as well. And adapting this to a Western audience and to, to making it really accessible to people so they can have deep meditations right from their first day of meditation.
Our guest on this Chi for Yourself is Ajayan Borys, author of Effortless Mind, Meditate with Ease. Great religious figures throughout history have made meditation a centerpiece in their spiritual lives, and yet, in the West anyway, we've distanced ourselves from meditation for fear that it doesn't have a place in our major faith. Why are people frightened of what meditation means and what it might do for them?
Well, I really think that's kind of a mistaken understanding, because, meditation, like I described in the beginning, means going to those subtler, deeper levels of the mind. And if you read the accounts of the mystics in any of the different faiths, there's a very, there's a resonance between those accounts. Mm-hmm. For many years I studied St. Teresa of Avila and St. John of the Cross, and just had a great passionate study of their writings. And I was always amazed to note the similarity between their experiences and my own experiences through meditation, as well as, some of the information that Patanjali gives in his Yoga Sutras, and the whole understanding of Kundalini, Shakti, and the chakras, and all of that relates very closely to their experience. So there's this commonality throughout many cultures of what that experience of going to deeper, subtler levels of the mind, how that expresses itself. And so I think it's just ignorance of that, and there's something about the human mind that likes to think its way is the best and others don't have is good, but but actually the more you study, the more you realize that we're all human beings and we all have a common experience, and it just comes out different expressions.
I remember reading somewhere that a big reason people are turning away from organized religion is that they're tired of hearing about God and they want a direct experience. How would we approach, or should we approach, meditation with the idea of having an experience of God?
Now, that's an interesting question. Well, okay, so, you need to, I think it's, first off, it's totally a valid approach. The thing is that you got to realize a lot of purification, I talked earlier about purification, a lot of purification needs to happen so that the clarity of our inner cognition gets, more and more acute. So we have greater and greater clarity. And that takes time. And as you do meditate over the years, you'll start to have more and more of glimpses of that divine consciousness that is the very core of your own being. And so definitely you can experience God, but it's not like it's just going to happen instantly. You need to have a pretty dedicated practice. And in the meantime, you'll have many benefits of meditation that you'll receive as you're going towards this experience of the divine.
Is there such a thing as a person who, I don't want to say can't meditate, but someone who has so much resistance, and maybe you've seen this in your teaching, that they're in a especially difficult case as far as having a successful meditation? Or is everyone just pretty much a success waiting to happen?
Yeah, in my experience, anybody can meditate. And the reason for that is we all, again, it's that commonality of experience. We all have a mind. It's just our and we all have a mind, which means we all have these subtler levels of thought that we can access. I mean, those subtler levels of thought are there. It's like saying, it's like we're all running around and somebody is saying, I can't stand still. I can't stand still. I have to keep running. Mm-hmm. And you say, well, if you're running around, that means you have the ability to stand, because you actually have to be able to stand before you can run. And so how about this? Why don't you try running a little slower, and you run a little slower and a little slower. Okay, now just try standing. And then they can stand. And that's a very apt analogy for meditation. Everybody has a mind. We're just going along at the surface of the mind. It's actually easier to settle down into those quieter and quieter levels because you're doing less and less and less until you're simply being, abiding in the core of your being. That's the most effortless experience. So if you can run around, you have the capacity to stand. And what you need is actually just the proper instruction. And so the only obstacle to that experience is people's, misconceptions. Their preconceived ideas of what it should look like. And if their experience doesn't conform to that, then they try and they struggle and they get frustrated. So that's where the proper instruction comes in. You have to really undo some of these ideas that keep us from that innocent, effortless experience of going to these subtler levels where you can just walk slower and slower and slower and finally just stand in your own being.
We hear a lot about the effects of stress, and stress involving finances, stress in the workplace. In fact, stress in finance and workplace rated, I think it was 1-2 in a Wall Street Journal report recently. Are there ways we can work meditative practice into the workplace and be kind of discreet about it? Do you show people how to do that?
Sure. Well, in fact, I do it myself because, I have a job, and so, if I haven't gotten my meditation in at home in the morning and I've had to get to work early for some super early meeting or something, after the meeting, then I'll just go to my office, close the blinds, close the door. That means I'm working really hard, and then meditate, and so you can, definitely find time to meditate on a coffee break, even in your car. It's not like you absolutely need to have this peaceful place with a little altar or something to meditate. You can meditate in your car. You can meditate on the bus. You can meditate wherever wherever you need to make sure that you get that in, because you definitely want to not just always be outer directed and always engaged in action. We need that to become as expert in the field of our own being as we are in the field of, our action and expression of ourselves. So it's kind of like my first teacher used to say, drawing the arrow back on the bow before you let it go to the target. We can't just always be, trying to throw the arrow. We have to draw it back and connect with our core, get that full potential energy, and then go out, and then our activity will be dynamic. So it's really important to have a practice, and wherever you need to do it, you can do it.
Is there a best time of day or numbers of times per day to meditate?
Well, yeah, you want to meditate, pretty much as soon as you wake up, or at least after showering and everything, because then your whole day will benefit from the meditation. Also, your whole day will become the means to integrate, like the benefit of that meditation. In other words, when you meditate, you experience this full potentiality, this inner silence that's just teeming with creative energy. And then when you go through your day, the different demands and requirements of your day will help to integrate that into the way your mind works, into the way your heart works, into your body's functioning as well. And so that whole day becomes a meditation in that sense, in that you're integrating the benefits of your early morning meditation. And then I think it's nice to get an extra charge, sometime towards your evening, so that you don't feel like just zoning out in front of the TV, but so that you have that Shakti, that Chi, that life force awakened again and active through your evening. So you have more to give to your family, and you can be more present. So I would say the ideal is twice a day, once in the morning and once, say, approximately before dinner.
Well, you outline lots of exercises in the book and lots of different variations on meditation. Also, you cover mantras. Is the mantra something that a beginning meditator would think about, or is it best to kind of work your way into that?
Well, I start people off real simply with just a simple exercise that awakens the energies, subtle energy in the body, and starts to direct those upwards to start to clear the centers, the chakras. Yeah. So that's without a mantra, and then gradually I work into introducing mantras into, like, with the chakras. And so mantras, I think the way I have it in the book is convenient and handy for people, in that it starts them off real easy, and then just step by step adds different pieces. So that it's not overwhelming. But at some point, I think, mantra meditation, using the mantras is an advantage, because there are these wonderful pure vibrations, and we are, after all, just vibrating energy on some level. And so, and what is a mantra but vibration? So if we want to raise our own vibration, then you can introduce these very pure vibrations, and that will help to raise the vibration of our whole being. And so they're a great gift. So I do think they're of benefit to people, and it's very easy to use a mantra as well. It's not complicated.
One last question, and then we'll let you go. The book gives those who are beginning their meditation practice a good starting point. What can it do for someone who's been meditating for a long time?
Oh, that's a good question. Like I say, I've explored meditation from a lot of different sources. So there are techniques in there that I think would be of value even to somebody who's been meditating a long time. Just even simple things, the Mula Bandha, for instance, in there. And the particular approach to chakra meditation is quite unique. And same with the approach to mantra meditation and the body scan. So it's kind of a unique slant that is more or less the best of what I've gained through the last 40 plus years of really passionate research into meditation. So, hopefully somebody who's been meditating a long time would find a lot that's of value in the book.
Yeah, and I like how the book breaks down the chakras individually and what each one means, and how the meditation is geared in that direction. Where can we find you on the internet? What's your website?
Ajayan.com. So that's Ajayan. And on there, I should say that also I do have a guided meditation download. Once you've read the book, it's sort of designed, it's not a teaching in itself, but if you've read the book, then you'll have the basis to use that download. So there's that. I'm just about to add a whole course online at that website on toning the energetic body. So using different breathing exercises and mudras and bandhas to further deepen the practice of meditation. So there's a lot there. Check it out. It's ajayan.com.
Effortless Mind, Meditate with Ease, Ajayan Borys. So I hope that you'll come back and visit us again. It sounds like you got a lot cooking, so please come back and see us again. We'd like to have you back.
Appreciate that, John, very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, and I hope we didn't take you too far out of your day.
No, not at all.
Okay, great. Ajayan, have a great day, and we'll talk to you again. Thanks very much.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Ajayan Borys. The book is Effortless Mind, Meditate with Ease. It's from New World Library. And, of course, we'll be linking to Ajayan's website at chiefforyourself.com. We'll have more to say about this show and some upcoming shows in Genuine. So keep an eye on that, too. You'll find that as well at chiefforyourself.com. That's going to do it for today. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon.